live on Facebook, live on YouTube, and good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Let me turn the phone on and start the timer, and we will rock and roll. Morning. Start nice and simply, toe and heel. Where do I want to be? There we go. There you should be able to see me. And we have the back camera as well, which I sometimes forget to check. Toe and heel, allowing the body to move if you want it to. I hope you're going to have a lovely day today. Roll the foot side to side, let the body move if you want it to. My day got rearranged because yesterday afternoon my main business computer died on me. This one that I transmit from is an old, fairly small, relatively low powered computer, whereas my main computer, although it's 9 or 10 years old, is quite a big beast, but it died. So I had to find somebody who might be able to fix it. And early this morning I have to get in the car and take said computer to hopefully be fixed. I suspect, however, that the outcome will be having to buy a new computer, but I'm trying to avoid that if possible. And foot side to side, or at least I'm trying to avoid having to buy it in a rush. I would like to take my time and buy something slowly and then copy stuff over and move hardware across, all that rubbish that you have to do. There should be a magic button that you press and it should just all happen. I suppose the answer is virtual computing in the cloud, but I'm a bit dubious about that. Circle the knee. I switched legs, but it doesn't matter. You could have stayed with the same leg if you wanted to. Let me see. So I'm going to try and get the computer fixed, drop it off, and luckily that's quite local, so that's not a problem. Although it was a problem to find somebody. The first couple of people I phoned said, oh no, we've retired from that. So it seems like maybe the pandemic changed direction. It might be some other random factor, but I suspect the pandemic, although you'd think it would lead to more people being at home and more people needing computer repair services, maybe it didn't have that effect. Maybe, I mean, I did notice on Amazon you can buy a refurbished computer very cheaply, less than £200. So maybe that's the route a lot of people took. Other leg, circle the knee. There's a lot of things that I suspect will have happened during the pandemic or will happen and continue to happen, but I suspect I won't live long enough to get the full ramifications. It'd be nice in 50 years from now to look back and say, oh yeah, that caused that, changed direction. I suppose an obvious thing is the shift in working patterns. How many buildings that were originally designed to be offices are going to be repurposed over the next X number of years into living accommodation? What effect will that have on city centres? And there's a lot of stuff that's going to be interesting for the historians. Leg and arm straight raisers. I'm quite a fan of what you might call the potentialities of history. In other words, when something happens and you're caught up in it, what are the effects that are going to result? I think that interest was inspired, wait for the being changed to opposite hand and leg. I think it was inspired by something I heard on the radio years and years ago. But I say years and years ago, sort of 20 or 30 years ago, where somebody was being interviewed about, was being interviewed about the Vietnam War and how I think it had affected America. And he basically said, well, I can't really tell you too much, and switch to doubles. I can't really tell you too much because it's too close. We're too directly involved with what has happened to really have a, a clear, unbiased historical perspective. And that stayed with me, and it's, it is interesting how, the things you know and the things you believe are definitely coloured by change to opposite, are coloured by the times we grow up in and our current thoughts, which may be 50, 100 years down the road, benefit of dispassionate looking back, may be very different. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? And same side, leg and arm, but diagonally across the body. So I was reading today in one of the American news media that the American security services apparently have reported that they may never know, or they don't know, the origin of the pandemic change to opposite arm and leg. And they basically were kind of saying, well, yeah, it could have just been a sort of, I can't remember the exact term, sort of food market occurrence, or it could have been an escape from a biological lab. No inference, obviously, of anything, pre-planned double lifts, which obviously is the very least likely scenario. But I must admit, I was thinking, why do people care? I don't quite understand why people want to blame people for something that was unintentional or naturally occurring. Anyway, what do I know about things? I mean, I guess there's issues if you've been directly affected and lost people, maybe you're looking for closure. But, maybe my Tai Chi is making me too chilled. And leg and arm out and around to the side. Maybe the Tai Chi just makes me, what's the word? Mellow. So I don't look for, if you've read the Tao Te Ching, the Lao Tzu, the alleged works of the alleged Lao Tzu, other direction, then you'll know the sort of Taoist idea of non-involvement and non-attachment, which is not just a Taoist thing, obviously. Buddhists, as well, are big on non-attachment. I've always thought that wasn't me, but as I get older, I'm beginning to think, maybe it is. Not intentionally, just maybe that's how I roll. Either arm and leg, out to the front, round to the side. By the way, if my witterings of anything political, philosophical, or otherwise offend, I apologise. It is just me airing some thoughts. If you enjoy them or if you don't enjoy them, please, 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 other direction. Please, 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 other direction. Please, please, please comment. I would ask that comments are respectful and intelligent, but as we know, that's not always what happens. I had on one of my YouTube videos yesterday a spammy email. It was very cunningly contrived to look like somebody was commenting on the video, but was actually trying to sell something. Circle the hips. Luckily though, although the comment got to me, YouTube itself deleted the comment. Because I was going to go and look at it and reply, thank you for your interest, kind of thing, quite politely. But when I got there, YouTube had deleted it, and I thought, that's interesting. So I did a bit of research, and it turned out that it was a spammy comment, change direction. So YouTube were very quick to act, automatic, obviously, a bot doing its thing, which is good. Spammers and fraudsters are sadly prolific on the internet and via SMS messages. Bring the feet in slightly. Internal circles, as I like to call them, meaning the hips are doing a lot of work up and down, both up and down, side to side, and up and down, front and back, and you're working the inguinal fold and you're working the small of the back. Change direction. As I've said before, you may find that putting your hands sort of there, a couple of inches below the navel, just gives you some tactile feedback so that you can feel, and slowing down may help, by the way, if you're a beginner, may give you some feedback on what's going on in terms of the movements that you're making, how accurate they are. Okay. Feet are slightly wider, small circles of the upper body. So what else is happening? Had a brilliant swim yesterday. It was cold, it was about 18 degrees, and the air temperature was significantly colder. Changed direction. But I think I mentioned the last couple of days that the flu jab had left me feeling a little bit under the weather. I say the flu jab, it might be something I ate, something I ate. But I felt under the weather. But after 50 odd minutes of swimming in cold water, I felt like Superman. Okay, gently tilt side to side, and as you tilt, allow the shoulder to rise. So I'm now, 98% of my potential. Roll the shoulders forward, bend forward, roll the shoulders back, bend back. This is mainly working the upper part of the spine, as indeed was the last exercise. But you know that if you attend these things regularly, and if you don't know it, well then you should be attending these exercise sessions regularly. Okay, let us now go side to side. You can make your feet slightly wider for this and make it a gentle stretch. As you may know, often we just do range of motion exercises, but here I am stretching down a little bit. It's not a severe stretch, it's just a gentle one. And then we're going to straighten up, and we can do the same thing forwards and backwards. And when the dinger goes ding, that will set us up for large body rotations. So we'll rotate our body, upper body, as much as you can. I can. Okay, so round, down and side and back and side, etc. No rush, just doing it at whatever speed is comfortable. Change direction. Bring the legs in a little bit, just bend to one side, take the hand over, take the hand out to the front, straighten up slowly, go to the other side, take the hand over. Take the hand out to the front, straighten up, stretch to the side, take the hand over. Take the hand out to the side, straighten up, take the hand over. Take the hand out to the front. You may want to bring the feet in a little, just fold forward. If you can touch the floor, grasp the wrists with the hands so you don't touch the floor, so it is your body bending. Bend the knees, put the hands above the knees, straighten up slowly, put the hands in the small of the back, put the feet a little wider, push the hips forward, lean backwards. Bring the feet together, gently circle the hips. Try and keep the head fairly still. You may see that I'm getting some movement in my head, but try and concentrate on circling the hips. Change direction. Breathing with all our exercises, all the exercises I teach, all of them, thinking, pretty much all of them, breathing in and out through the nose if you can, circling the hips. Talking of which, I had an itchy nose. Take the feet out to shoulder width, circle the hips. Try and make the circles a bit bigger. Try relax the legs. And when I say relax the legs, that's relax the hips, relax the knees, relax the ankles. I had to think what the word for knees was. It's knees. So the more relaxed you are, the easier the movement. Change direction. Try and think of what else there is of interest or note that I want to share with you. Mainly Tai Chi stuff, I think, which is a shame because I want to try and broaden out what I talk about. Take the feet slightly wider, bend the legs, circle the hips, because I think it's more fun then. It'll give you the chance to engage with me on a broader base. I don't want these videos to become something and exercise, but I'm happy if they're exercise, change direction, plus a little something. We can have a bit of fun with it that way, especially if you comment in a way that I can engage with. So if you tell me things that add value, that I can share with people, that's brilliant. Obviously, if you ask any questions about exercise, that's a primary thing. If you, sorry, I'm just waiting for the dinger to ding. Feet wider, bend the legs. Now the circles will probably become a bit smaller, but you're now bending legs. I tend to point my toes out. It will depend a lot on your own flexibility as to whether you have the toes pointed out a little or they're more parallel, but I find toes pointed out is best. But yeah, if we can broaden the topics of discussion on these videos, that would be great. Change direction. Eventually, and that might be, I don't know. I'm just trying to think, if my computer can't be repaired and I have to replace it, then can I take some of the bits from my computer to beef up this computer? I'm not quite sure that would work, but if eventually I can get this computer going a bit faster so that we could do live streaming and bend and straighten. I took the feet out, sorry, I'm going to come over here. The feet are out. My knees are going out in the same direction. It would be fun if we could stream on Zoom as well. I've tried to stream on Zoom as well as Facebook and YouTube simultaneously, and it was just too much work for the computer. It did not end well. Keep going. You can make the mini squats a little bit deeper, but not too deep, and you don't want to take the knees past the toes. Whoop, sorry. Lost my balance there for a second, which is okay. These things happen to the best of us. I'll tell you about my old karate teacher in a minute. Right, now you can bring the feet a little bit straight, and you're just going to take the body side to side, gentle stretch of the inside. My karate teacher, who I studied with for in excess of 30 years, one of his sayings was, even monkeys fall out of trees. And I suspect that's been of more influence than perhaps I. Keep going. You can make the stretch a little bit slower, a little bit deeper, but don't overdo things. I suspect that's resulted in me being, what's the word, quite relaxed in my attitude towards my students, towards your performance, towards my performance. Sorry, my feet are slipping all over the place, so I'm going to pull them in slightly. And straighten up. Circle the shoulders. What I mean by that is there is a degree of precision necessary in Tai Chi. You can't ignore all the rules that are the foundation of Tai Chi. So I'm just moving over slightly. But if you slavishly adhere to change direction to all of those rules, you can become a bit of a pedant. You can become, you can lose the big picture. I'm not going to name names, but what can I say? Let me think. One of my students used to train with somebody, and he happened to mention this somebody, and I looked at this somebody's website. I was telling a student that a person changed direction. I ran a 2-hour one-to-one real world here in the studio lesson yesterday for an instructor, one of my instructors. Anyway, sorry, this other student was mentioning this other instructor, and I looked at this other instructor's website, and he had a Q&A on his website, questions and answers section, which in fairness, I have changed direction. I have quite a substantial Q&A section on my website, but one of the questions was, in effect, and I'm summarising it slightly, do I have to train every week? Do I have to train regularly? And his attitude was, yes, if you want to train with me, you absolutely must commit and you must train every week and do this and do that. And I thought, hang on, what's the point in that? It's like you're stopping people right at the beginning, arms out, palms upwards, small circles. You start stopping people right at the beginning of their journey, where perhaps they're not sure, they're not committed, they just want to come along once in a while, do a bit of Tai Chi, not become a Tai Chi master, just do a bit, and you're stopping them. It's like, nah, not the way. I mean, obviously it is the way for that instructor, and he's changed direction, he's not under my domain, but gosh, I would never do that to a student. I used to have a student who was European sales manager this was years ago when we lived in a different city. He was European sales manager for quite a big company, but because he was European sales manager, he travelled all over Europe. He got to train with me 2 or 3 times a year. Great, lovely. If you train 2 or 3 times a year, you're doing it, and big circles, but keep the palms upright and keep the circles fairly slow. You're doing, I can't even work it out in terms of maths, but you're doing an infinite amount more training 3 times a year than somebody who doesn't train at all. So you do what you can. So yeah, anyway, change direction. Big circles, nice and slow. I mean, that said, obviously, it's pretty obvious to anyone. I try and train every day. Yeah, of course I fall off the wagon occasionally, but most days I'll do exercise, most days I'll do Tai Chi. Relax, big circles, start going backwards, big circles. Don't worry too much about the orientation of the hands. You may see me change the orientation of my hands sometimes, other times I just sort of keep them whatever feels right. Yeah, I mean, you know, I try and do my Tai Chi, my swimming, my exercises every day, but that's because I'm strange. Change direction. You can be strange too. Come along, train with Robert. You can be strange. I don't know that that's the best sales pitch that I've ever heard. That's a lovely idea. Comment below, what should the sales pitch be? Come and train with Robert and you can be weird will be my first attempt. Opposite directions. Some waist movement here to aid the opposite directions is perfectly okay. I get quite a definite clicking the first few, well, or more times I do these opposite arms in the back of my neck, but I do have fairly tight muscles around the neck, which is why one of the reasons why I do a lot of neck exercises, to strengthen and change direction and relax and loosen those muscles. So if you do feel the odd click or crunch as you exercise, as long as it's not painful, and those are just sort of noisy clicks, not any kind of painful click that I get. If you do have clicks or crunches, by all means speak to your doctor or medical practitioner, never a bad thing, but it should be of no import. And relax. Okay, it's 8 o'clock. I'm going to continue, and I hope you will continue too. But if you wanted to stop, then a few gentle neck exercises and you could stop. I'm going to go down the body. I'm going to start here with some U shapes with the head, relaxing the legs, sitting back ever so slightly. Continue with the U shapes. Relaxing the legs a bit more. Bringing the hands up onto the chest, dropping the chin, turning the head side to side. Looking straight forward and then moving the head laterally, side to side. As if the head was on a rail, going towards one shoulder, then the other. You may only get a really small amount of movement here. It's okay. It's probably a good thing actually. If your head sort of went over there somewhere, that would be a bit worrying. Jut the head forwards, bring the head back, tucking the chin in slightly. It'd be quite amusing, wouldn't it, if your head could sort of suddenly go over to the side. Sorry. Sort of Fantastic Four, was it Mr. Elastic in the Fantastic Four? Can't remember. Or, what was the cartoon? Incredibles, wasn't it? And now we are going to look up and down. Relax the legs a bit more. Tilt one ear, then the other ear up towards the ceiling, keeping the head looking forwards. Relax the arms, turn the head side to side, looking behind you. Take the feet slightly wider, let's just move across slightly. circle the arms, use the sideways momentum in the hips to aid the movement. In pure Tai Chi terms, it should be the energy coming up from the ground, through the feet, through the waist, into the arms. And there is a feeling of that you can get if you get the change direction, if you get the speed of rotation of the arms and the movement of the hips coordinated, you can possibly feel that ground connection and that idea of energy travelling up and through the body. Oh, by the way, I'll talk in a minute when we change. Opposite directions. Here the legs are bending as you go down, straightening as you come up, bending as you go down, straightening as you come up. 98% of the time when I talk about energy, I'm not talking about anything etheric or imaginary. I am talking about the sort of energy that a physicist might understand, kinetic energy, potential energy, gosh, I suppose as far as the muscles go, things like electrical energy, because obviously it's changes in, well, I think it's something vaguely like changes in electrical potential between ions that cause muscles to do things, although I don't pretend to understand that, but it's just worth you understanding what I mean when I say energy. Okay, this one, be an aeroplane. In other words, bend the knees, relax the legs, sit back slightly, tuck the pelvis under, all the good stuff. Upper arms, what's the word I want? Static, upper arms stationary, that's a good word. Lower arms, forearms circling round. Change direction. By the way, just in case anybody wonders and thinks, oh, I wonder if it's because it's quite early in the morning that his speech is often completely incoherent. No, it's okay. That's what I'm like most of the day. I vary between being profound and being insane, and I don't care. Tuck the elbows in, I do care. Tuck the elbows in, circle the hands. I spent a number of years, more than a number, well, a number of years, doing corporate training, teaching often fairly serious subjects to fairly serious people. And, sorry, just wait till we change direction. And one of the things that came out of that was one thing that developed during that period was a really deep realization that you need to have fun. If you're not enjoying the things you do in life, please, please, please try and figure out a way to change them so you will enjoy them, or you either change yourself so you enjoy the things you're currently doing, or you change the things you're currently doing to something else. Little slappy motions. If perchance you have arthritis, you may want to forego this and the next exercise, but arthritis in the wrist to be specific, so I have arthritis in an ankle, which obviously doesn't stop me doing this exercise. So you're just waving the arms and allowing the hands to flap from side to side. Wrists as relaxed as possible. And then you're chopping up and down. It's not a karate chop, you're not doing that, you're letting the wrist flex both up and down as you make those movements. So it's very relaxed. Okay, I'm going to step back to this next time. There's a couple of different parts of this. I'm going to move, sorry. Interlock the fingers, push them forwards. You'll see why I'm moving back in a moment. Interlock the fingers, push them forwards. Push, 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 so you're stretching the fingers backwards. You can, if you want, alter the way you're interlacing the fingers. So if you were doing it like that, you're now doing it like that, or vice versa. But don't worry too much about that. Now, relax, push it up. So I'm just going to step back so you can see. You should be able to see my hands there at the top. Okay, I'm now going to step in because you know what I'm doing. Straighten up and try and touch the ceiling. And then relax, come down, push out again. Come in, push up. Come in, push out. Come in, push up. Now, tilt, straighten up, push up. Tilt, straighten up, push up. Tilt to the side. 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 Maybe tilt a little bit more. Straighten up, push up. Tilt to the side. Maybe a little bit more. Straighten up, push up. Relax the fingers. Just give them a quick wiggle woggle. Okay, play an imaginary piano, which is really good that it's an imaginary one, because if I was playing a real piano at this point in time, it wouldn't sound terribly good. In fact, if I play a real piano at any point in time, it doesn't sound particularly good. But you're just trying to wiggle woggle, technical term, all your fingers. Then, arms out in front, clench and unclench the fingers. Arms, for once, very rare in Tai Chi or in Tai Chi exercises, that the arms are straight. Having said about sort of not slavishly keeping to Tai Chi principles, I was aware that I was leaning backwards and I was kind of thinking, oh yeah, how do I fix that? But it's actually, it's nice if your body is upright, but it's not the end of the world. Close the fists, rotate them. I've now, hopefully, oops, I moved. Hold on. Trouble is, when you watch your reflection, as it were, in the screen, it's very easy to go the wrong way. That's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it. Change direction of these rotations. You should be feeling it along there. And maybe a little bit in the shoulders. Shoulder rolls. Not bacon rolls, not sausage rolls, shoulder rolls. Although I don't advise you going into your local delicatessen and asking for shoulder rolls if you want sausage rolls, because they will get confused. And you may notice that I'm letting my legs straighten and bend in time with the motion. This idea of whole body movement is really one to try and embrace, because the more you can both perceive and use your body as a single functional unit, the more efficient your movements will be. It allows you to recruit more muscles to do a particular task. It also over time over time allows you to relax muscles that you don't need to do things. Let us go to the waist and let us push the hip side to side, getting a gentle stretch along there. Push, push. So this, if you like, is kind of a bit of circling the hip. And now let's do the same thing. Push the hips forward, push the hips back, forwards, back, forwards, back. You may feel some tension in the back. Lower back is where I was going to say, and relax. And what I want to do now, I'm thinking, what do I want to do now? I would like to stay here. So let's do some of these, just sort of what I would call half circles. We're coming across the body and then going out. We're not worrying about going all the way around. You can if you want, but do concentrate on taking the foot across the body. And then go to the other leg. And I'm not going to let my OCD kick in. We are just going to do these across and out. We're not going to do them in the opposite direction, which is quite a challenge for me, because having done things one way, my OCD says, you've got to balance it out, yin and yang. Got to do it the other way. No, you don't. Okay. How much time we got? Got about 14 minutes. So I think let's finish with some stretching. Let's start. Let me come back. Let me take a seat. Start as I tend to start, with putting the soles of the feet together and just holding the ankles. And if your feet are up, if your knees are up there, that's perfectly normal. I can open quite wide if you can too, that's fine. Just hold the ankles, I'm holding the toes. So I just want to pull myself upright, alter my posture so that my spine feels that it's straight and the legs start to relax down. Once the feet are as low, once the knees are as low as I think they'll go, I'm just going to pull in the feet a little bit, which causes the knees to rise up a little bit for me. And then once again, I'm just going to sit and relax. And although the timer is still ticking off 30-second intervals, I'm not really paying it any great attention. I'm quite a believer that any kind of stretching should be as much an exercise in mindful relaxation as it should be in actually stretching muscles, because stretching is very valuable, being flexible is very valuable, being relaxed is of incalculable value. If you can relax more than you are currently relaxing, you're winning the game. Obviously, sorry, I'm going to put a rider there. Obviously, one could say the ultimate form of relaxation is death. I'm not including that in the mix. So as long as you're alive and happy and fully relaxed, and you may or may not have noticed my knees have gone down a little bit further while I was yabbering on, I'm going to take one leg out in front. If you can put your foot to the inside somewhere, if you can't do that, you can just leave the foot out and you can just grab one foot. I'm going to put my foot over the top So the ankle is over the thigh, and then I'm going to grab, you can grab above the knee, you can grab the ankle, or if you can grab the toe. Try to pull back a little bit on the foot, so you are stretching the calf, you're stretching the lower back. Try not to bend too far forwards, try and keep the back straight. Keeping the reason for putting the foot on top is it helps you keep this leg straight, so you don't cheat the exercise. Some people naturally, having said that, will have a very straight leg, and if you have, then put your foot to the side, or if you prefer, put the foot to the side. And while you're doing that, you're also relaxing this hip to allow that knee to fall downwards as much as it wants to. Keep going. We probably won't be doing the two legs for the same amount of time because I'm not paying attention to the ding dong ding. I'm not aware of whether we've done this for a minute or a minute and a half or whatever. But gently release, relax, straighten the other leg, put the foot in here or there or over the top, hold here or there or there, and gently stretch. Now immediately I do this on this side, I feel tension here in the left buttock, which I didn't feel in the right buttock. Sorry, passing nod there to the movie Forrest Gump. That's because part of my body is more relaxed than another part of my body, and that's fine. Although there is a degree of bilateral symmetry in the human condition, in the Homo sapiens that we all are, well, I hope we all are, we possibly all are, it is not the fact, or it's very much not the fact that our left side and our right sides are not equal and opposite. They are opposite, but they are not equal. Most people have one dominant hand. Most people have one leg slightly longer than the other. There's all sorts of, one eye stronger than the other. There's all sorts of things that mean your left side and your right side are slightly different. And so when you're doing exercises, to find that there's tension in one side that isn't in another is perfectly okay. Relax, release gently. Both feet out. Have the feet about hip width apart. Grab above the knee, below the knee, the ankle, or the feet. Try and keep the spine fairly straight, so I'm not hunching over too much, and try and pull the feet back, stretching the legs. This isn't, by the way, when I say pull, I'm not pulling, like I want to rip them off. It's a gentle pressure. So there's a gentle pressure pulling the toes back, there's a gentle pressure pulling my body forwards. The mantra when I'm stretching is relax and release. Relax is what I do, release is what I want the muscles to do. As I relax, the muscles release. Relax and release. Relax and release. Relax and release. And maybe you'll get profound change happening. Maybe at first nothing will happen. It doesn't mean that the concept of relax and release is not for you. It means you need to practice it a little bit. I'm just going to release and take the feet out, and I'm going to put the hands behind me, although this floor is a bit slippery, so it's a bit tricky to do that, but I'm trying to find some leverage to have my back straight but pushing it forward slightly. Now here, relax and release will be the muscles here. I was going to say something profound and I've completely forgotten it. Oh yes, I know. I was saying about trying something and seeing if it's for you. If I'm trying something new, new exercise, a new food, almost a new anything, I will almost never only try something once. I will try something repeatedly until I am obviously, I'm not suggesting that you sort of say, oh, I've heard that strychnine kills people. I wonder if it does. I'll take some strychnine, and if it doesn't work the first time, I'll take it. No, there are certain things, obviously. Oh, I'll walk out in front of a car. Oh, look, I survived. I'll do it again. Maybe I'll be better this time. So I'm just going to move sideways so you can see both my feet. Obviously, there are things that you don't do. We get that. Right, now, going to one leg, thinking about relax and release. There are certain things that you don't do. There are certain things you don't do more than once. Possibly. I'm trying to think of something you don't do more than once that's good for you, but I can't. But, it'd be something like eating broccoli. I mean, okay, I do eat broccoli now. But, I could imagine somebody eating broccoli for the first time and going, yeah, I'm never going to do that again. But most things you want to persevere at until you get good enough at them to know whether they're for you or not. So in other words, I might try a new way of stretching. I'm going to change legs now. I might try a new way of stretching. There's lots of different stretching methodologies. I might try a new way, and I would probably try that way for a number of months before deciding it either is for me or it's not for me. Secret exercise. Into the clasp your hands. We're not at Christmas yet, but imagine you've got a big bowl of Christmas pudding and a big spoon, and you're stirring that Christmas pudding. Now you're doing this with the hips. I'm moving the hips and the upper body, which results in me moving the arms. Change direction. Nice and relaxed. But you should definitely feel it in the muscles of the legs and the groin. Nice and gently. And relax. Slowly turn onto your front. Just point the toes out. Slowly straighten the spine, lift up a little, or as much as you comfortably can. Straightening out the spine. Can raise up a bit more, that's fine, but don't overexert. Relax down gently, slowly, gently get up. If you get up too quickly, the change in blood pressure can cause you to pass out, and I'm on a hard floor here. I don't want to pass out and go thump. Give everything a little shake. Now, I'll be back. Don't go away. It's, let's see. Give everything a little shake. And I'm stopping the timer. And the timer is stopping at 59 minutes and 42 seconds. I'm just rotating the spine a little bit there, just to ease that back off. I'm just going to do that for a few seconds one way, and then a few seconds the other. And yeah, bring them on. Little ones preferably, small assassins, not giant ninja ones. Okay, thank you very much. Hope you've enjoyed the session. As I said earlier on, please leave comments, as I prefer polite ones rather than rude ones. Don't get me wrong, comments can be in conflict with things I say. One of the things I always teach my students is you don't have to do what Sifu says. I'm a huge believer that people should think for themselves, and my beliefs and thoughts should not be your beliefs and thoughts, but I will engage with people that engage with me politely or intelligently, if that makes sense. I'm sorry to have to say that actually, but I have noticed on YouTube and on Facebook, occasionally people just post comments. I was reading something today, somebody posted something, and people were posting comments that showed that they disagreed with the position, but didn't explain why they disagreed and didn't even explain what their position was. Well, you know, it's a bit like when you ask a child or a teenager, you know, would you like chicken for dinner tonight? No. What would you like? Would you like beef? No. Oh, by the way, this works if you're asking me what I like for dinner. But, you know, you really want somebody to say, would you like chicken for dinner? No. Could I have egg and sausages, please? Then you've got, or do you have any sausages? Yes, I have some sausages. Fine, can I have some sausages? Anyway, have a lovely day. Ciao.